and the journey of ascension that you are on felt wonderful and terrible all at the same time. You awakened, now you're ascending, and some days you're up, other days you're down, and most of the days you may be bouncing up and down and in between all of them. Well, if that is causing you to feel uncomfortable, to feel frustrated, angry, upset, and just is making your life miserable, then I'm glad you're here, because today we're going to take a look at what is really happening, why you are so emotional, and what you can do about it. Because remember, the angels have the answers and they want to share them with you. So, welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Marsha Martin, the heart healer. And we have so much good stuff that we want to go over today. The first thing is, what's happening? Why am I so emotional? Why do I feel as though I am not able to just stay steady the way that I used to, or stuff things down the way that I used to, or feel good when I erupt in a rage the way that I used to? What is happening and what can you do about it? And also, the question that I get most often from people is there something wrong with me? Am I broken now? Because generally, it is not the entire family that is awakening and ascending. It's one, you, somewhere in the world, because you agreed that you were going to be the forerunner. You agreed that you were going to get out in front and lead the parade of love so that the entire planet could awaken and ascend. But that means that you're one in a family that is probably scratching their head and saying, "Oh, you really are weird." So, what is the ascension journey doing to you, and why have you chosen to go on it? So, we got to remember that we as energetic beings have so much more understanding than we may be able to access in our physical bodies. So, we come with a game plan. These are the things that I want to accomplish or experience during my life journey. And you would have written into that life plan, I want to awaken and be in the forefront of this ascension movement. But you also would have realized before you came here that it might be a really lonely journey because you would be the only one in your family or perhaps even your group of friends. So, when you are ascending, you are being asked to release everything that is preventing you from experiencing and enjoying your highest good. And this is where you start getting that rage bubbling up, because too often we have allowed around us people who may have been less than ideal. And that means in order for you to truly ascend, you've got to get out from under their umbrella and start really stepping into who you are. So you may be shedding friends, you may be shedding family members, and it can lead you to feeling really unsteady because those people that you relied on so heavily or that relied on you so heavily may no longer be syncing with you, and it can feel really awkward. So you've got to release the illusion that what you are dealing with, the life that you are living right now, is the one that you would want, that is really the one that's in alignment with your highest good. You've got to get used to reaching for the greater as you let go of the lesser. We can't reach for the greater and hold on to the lesser at the same time. So, reaching for the greater and releasing the lesser. And as you look at some of these false belief systems that you may have acquired during your life or may have been taught by family, by friends, by society, you may feel very cheated. And when you begin looking at this and saying, what is this? This is not the way it was supposed to be, or the way that I thought it was, you can let those emotions start really bubbling up because you are going to be in the process of releasing things like, I'm not good enough, and I have nothing to offer, and I don't measure up. If that's the truth that you lived with your entire life up until now, when you start recognizing your value and start saying, hey, I really do have a lot to offer, you can feel very violated by the fact that there was no one around you honoring you. They may have even been putting you down. They may have even helped you get to the place where you felt like you were not enough. So it can bring up some anger. But the journey was never supposed to be about hearts and flowers. It was never everybody sitting in a circle and we all sing kumbaya and learn how to get along. Your ascension journey is deeply personal. It means that you are releasing trauma, abuse, past pain, past limitations, and those are personal to you. So it means that you must go in and take a look at that which is holding you prisoner and release it. And often in that transitional period, if we don't have really good guidance and help, you can get really angry about what is true, the divine truth, and what you were taught. Let's understand, though, that those who were teaching you what they knew or what were capable of from their own dysfunction. Let's say you had a narcissistic parent. The narcissistic parent is dysfunctional. They are not going to be able to build you up because that will directly violate their sense of self. And they have very weak self esteem. So they're going to do their best to try to push you down so that they can feel as though they are more important. Are they doing this on purpose? Well, yes and no. Yes, they are doing it on purpose to try to make themselves feel better, but they are only doing it because they have no other social skills, no other coping mechanism. It is not that they want to destroy you, they just want to feel good about themselves. So, as you awaken and ascend, you might look at that and say, what the heck? What kind of a parent is this? And if you're not careful, you can get really caught up in the rage and forget to let it go. So it's very important that you do take a look at these emotions that you're feeling, but as quickly as possible, you move through them into the higher, lighter vibration of love, joy, and peace. And this is done best with assistance. No one can do your ascension journey for you, but others who are further along can guide you through this soup of emotions and help you hold steady, seeing yourself as you truly are. So that's where a good counselor can really make a difference for you. Please don't get fooled by somebody that tells you, oh, I can do this for you overnight. No one knows how quickly or how slowly it's going to progress. They can have a general idea, but it will never be overnight. Hello, Abdul. I'm so glad to see you here. Are you dealing with any kind of emotions that you want me to address specifically? So let's remember that the journey is for the purpose of embracing divine truth. And none of us, unless we grew up with a very enlightened parent, none of us are completely in touch with divine truth. So it's going to be a period of revelation, but it's going to be, in many cases, very contradictory from what you grew up with. And it is also the journey of letting go of the less than. Remember, you're supposed to grab onto the highest good, but at the same time, you must let go of the lower. Because if you're grabbing onto both, this lower has been taking up all of your emotional space. And you must begin releasing it so you have room for this highest good to come in and to work with you. So I'm going to give you an example of someone who I met who had been on her journey of ascension for a while and had just been left completely befuddled. This particular individual was incredibly loving and kind, had no one else around them who was able to advise them, and had gotten on quite a lot of psychiatric medication. And their statement was, I don't know why I had to go through this awakening. I was happy being numb. So often we think there's no purpose to the awakening because we are happy being numb. And it's really important that you allow yourself to feel. If you are going to hang on to being numb, you're never going to be able to make progress. Okay. Disrespect, Abdul says, disrespect, overthinking, and anger. Beautiful. Yes, of course you are having all these emotions. You are kind of being hit with the barrage of truth, which says the way you grew up, everything that you knew to be true really isn't true. And you are so much more than you ever imagined yourself to be. And you don't know how to kind of become that, to fill in that space. So let's take a look at what you can do. You got to crumble away the untruth. Don't let it come in like an ocean. Just little by little, allow yourself to begin accepting. Take little bites. You're not going to get it overnight. This is a journey. So if you try to drink the whole ocean, you would only be able to do it one sip at a time. Therefore, begin interacting with the divine to the degree that you are able to digest, process, and make use of the information. But understand that you must clear the limitations little by little so that you will have room for this new truth that you are interacting with. If you don't do the clearing, you're having a war. And war creates rage. War creates chaos, confusion, just anger. You want to erupt because nothing seems right. And this is when Abdul's overthinking comes in. This is where you start questioning, am I crazy? Are these people crazy? And you just end up bubbling with rage and animosity. Clear away the limiting belief. I'll show you a procedure in a few minutes of what you can do. You have so much more ability than you've given yourself credit for. So just begin from the place of I am able and take it from there. Please don't try to say, I've never done this before. I don't know if I'll ever be any good. I'm not good at many things, and then try to do this successfully. Please begin from the place of, I am able. Then see how it flows for you. And Abdul says what he's experienced is that the more that I give people respect, some people are sarcastic and make mean comments. Absolutely. So, what can you do for that? You try to be respectful. You try to be the giver, the listener, the person that is a good friend. And people come back with barbs of sarcasm. Well, as long as you are on the same level that they are, you're here, you're trying to rise above your negativity, but you're still in that place where the limitations are more powerful than the divine truth. and they are here feeling badly about themselves and needing to be sarcastic, as long as you're both here, you're going to run into each other and butt heads, and here comes the anger and the hurt feelings and the wondering why nobody likes you. Let go of trying to please this group of people. Put your energy, your attention, your focus, and all of your effort into raising your vibration. They will stay here. You will start coming up here, feeling good, filled with love, filled with joy, overflowing with peace. And you'll be walking along up here. So even if they need to make a sarcastic comment, you will not be available to receive it. You are never going to win the battle head to head. You must rise, and then you won't be in a battle. The best way to win is not to get engaged ever. So, what happens when that facade cracks? Well, Abdul already shared a little bit with us, but we begin to see the injustice. We see all of the ways in which we have been hurt. Hi, Elle. I'm so glad you're here. All right, guys, we got a lot of really wonderful people here with us today. But we're seeing the injustice. And where it is most glaring for me is within the LGBTQ community. I'm sorry, not within it, toward that community. There is so much hate going on about especially the transgender community. It is ridiculously petty, crazy little stuff that is going on. We are talking about what, less than 1% of the population. This is not affecting anybody. The only thing a transgender person may want out of their life is to feel good about themselves. And yet we are having these huge discussions about why that's inappropriate. Well, if you allow yourself, you will devolve into rage. You will feel as though you have every right to be enraged by this conversation. But remember what happens if I am meeting the hater on their level, which is rage, we butt heads. So, therefore, it is important for me to stay in my high place, to observe, ooh, there are a lot of haters, and then to spread love, which is more powerful than their hate. We do not need to engage one on one. We need to enlighten and encourage and uplift others so that they will stop being so afraid and begin living a life that feels good. So we don't have to go head to head. We're not going to win the battle here. We are going to be without a battle. Up here, we're going to be living our best life and encourage others to leave the battlefield. Battle doesn't do anything. Living up here in harmony does everything. Oh, you're so welcome, beautiful Elle. Yes, it in my earlier years, I got quite offended by the amount of hate. I am different myself, and I spent quite a long time living in an area of the country where I was looked on as very weird, and I had to hide who I was. And I found it to be quite frustrating, quite limiting, and not pleasant. And so here I am where I'm allowed to talk about the angels and nobody looks at me like I'm a weirdo. And I love it. I just get to be me. And I look around at other communities that are being told you cannot be you. And I feel a very personal connection in a different way. And so my early years, I spent quite a bit of time arguing and trying to enlighten people as to why this was so unnecessary. Now I've just learned to rise above. I've grown on my journey. I've gotten further on my journey, and I've stepped out of that emotional hogwash where I used to be. But know that we are going to have the opportunity to see the injustice, and that can, if you allow it, inflict hurt and pain. It's going to bring up rage, dissatisfaction, hurt, anger, all these low emotions. But these low emotions are not helping you, even though they may feel good in the moment, and we do need to express them. We need to remember that if we give in to the hurt, we have given up on our divine connection. Use your divine connection to help you heal the hurt instead of cutting yourself off from the divine connection and wallowing in the pain. I don't want you to hurt. I want you to heal. Doesn't mean I don't want you to acknowledge that you are being hurt. However, you can't fix the problem from here. You got to go here. Be your divine self, and the answers will flow to you. It may mean moving to another area of the country that is much more welcoming to whatever it is that you are honoring or the way in which you want to live your life. It may mean that you need to say to some people, I need space. I cannot be with you while you are acting in this way. You can do it lovingly. It doesn't have to be hurtful. So if you don't really do something with these emotions that are coming up, you're going to feel like you're on the emotional roller coaster. It's, look what's been done to me. Oh, now I have to get everyone back for this mean treatment that they've given me. And you get really invested in just continuing the hurtful conversation. Yes, you deserve to feel the way you do, but do you want to? That's the question that I want you to ask yourself. Do I want to feel this way? I deserve to feel this pain. What is happening to me is not pleasant. Do I want to participate in this? Do you hear the power that you have when you begin understanding that you are autonomous in your life? Now, add your divine support system to that, and you are a powerhouse. So, first, you have to give yourself permission. I deserve to feel this way. They are spreading hurt and doing cruel things to me and whatever, whatever, whatever. I deserve to feel this way. Do I want to? Am I gaining anything from this? If you are able to say, no, I don't want to feel this way. It doesn't feel good. Don't feel that I'm expanding. Call on your divine support team. Help. I need help. Please help me clear away this emotional interference, this dark energy that is really not supporting my highest good. You are never alone, but you must ask. Let me see what you're all saying. Hello, my beautiful Evan. Evan says, we as trans individuals show people how to live from the inside out, not searching for outward acceptance of self. I don't understand. Now, this is my personal opinion. I don't understand why you would want to tell someone who feels they are in the wrong body that they must stay in that body and be miserable rather than support them and saying, yes, 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 go adopt the outer clothing, coating, whatever you want to call it, the outer appearance that would feel good to you so you can feel great. I want more happy people in the world with me. I don't want a miserable person that feels that they are locked in the wrong body, how is that serving me, serving them, serving the world? It's just more misery. I can't understand why everybody is not jumping up and down saying, oh, this is fabulous. We get to have more happy people. Instead, we got some crazy people running around saying, this is terrible. I want you to feel bad all your life. I don't get it. To me, it is so simple, but that's just me. I just don't understand why you would not vote for happy if you had a choice. So, what you got for me, butterfly spirit? What advice do you give trans people when the world shames and judges us in our everyday life? Okay, let's keep going because you're going to understand how you can just be in the space of what feels good instead of in the space of everybody else's personal opinion. They don't matter. If you have people in your life who are critical and very cruel, why are you allowing them in your space? It's your choice. I know some of them may be parents, siblings, and other close relations. You can back away, close the door. You don't have to latch it. You don't have to buy all the locks in the hardware store. Just close the door. I love you. I'm going to spend some time really stepping in to who I am and to feel good about myself. If those people cannot respect that, that's a big red flag. Why are you giving them your precious energy? You are a beautiful being. If people cannot treat you as though you are a beautiful being, I would question whether they need a large place in your life. Now, when it comes to strangers, hold your head up high and shine bright. When you are shining love, people don't see your outer appearance. I know that sounds extremely naive, but I can tell you that that is the experience that I have had over and over and over again. People don't know what I look like. They know how I make them feel. I do my best to project love ahead of me so that everyone who I am near feels loved. I don't think they could tell you what I look like. They just know, oh, I feel safe, or I feel loved, or I feel welcomed, or I feel noticed, or whatever. And I also make sure to compliment people, a sincere compliment, to make them feel as though I am welcoming them. Most people are feeling insecure and may react negatively to you because they're feeling badly about themselves. If you're up here, again, their negativity will be down here and you're up here floating around on your love cloud. They can be negative all they want and you're still going to be feeling great. And Evan says, if you're only interacting with them once, remember that you won't ever have to see them again. Yes, yes, yes. There are rude people everywhere. I'm not, don't happen to be trans. I run into rude people, usually because I spend so much time in the love zone. My reaction is now is like, whoa, I'm so shocked. I almost never have rude people. But then I just send them a blanket of pink and gold light and I walk on. Yes, Evan is right. They don't pay your bills, they don't do anything for you. Don't let them bring you down. And absolutely, Elle, be selective of who you have in your circle. You're the only one that gets to make that choice. Even if, and we are all adults here, even if these are your parents, you're not a child so that you are stuck to them. You can have a respectful relationship that doesn't require face to face or any more contact than you are comfortable with. But let's keep going. You guys, I love you guys. You're fabulous. But I want to share with you what the angels suggest so you can handle these situations and really be prepared. So, and I got to tell you, Archangel Michael gave me the greatest thing. I'm just about ready to put it in our Patreon community for squeezing out the negativity because I just had picked up a whole bunch of nonsense. And I was like, oh, I've got no time. I can't sit down and do a deep healing and clearing right now. Give me a quickie that will fix me. And they did. So, and everyone is welcome to join us in Patreon. And it's just filled with angelic tips and tricks. So, why is it happening? Why do you feel like maybe you have a target painted on your back? Well, let's face it, we all had to move from the oblivious stage where we were not awake, which is, ignorance. This is the way it is, and I'm just going to assume that it's always got to be. Then we get that awareness, which is like rebellion. And, it doesn't have to be this way. And now what we are wanting to do is grow even more so that we are in. Oh, sorry. Then there's one more phase, the protest or social cause kind of phase, in which we become the advocate. I certainly was. Why are you picking on these people that don't do anything to you? I got caught up in that, where I'm going to make a difference. And you have that impassioned rage, that righteous indignation where you are going to be fighting for what you want. And then we step into the empowered place, which is more enlightened. Perhaps not fully reaching enlightenment, but definitely more enlightened when you understand I create a better world through love and acceptance, through the beingness, and not through I'm going to get you or I'm going to make you understand. You have to understand why your way is wrong. We create a better world through love and acceptance. And this may mean that you have to accept that there are some haters in the world that are very young souls. They don't understand how magnificent you are in your diversity, how magnificent we all are when we bring our different ways of being together. We become stronger through our diversity than we ever could if we all tried to be carbon copies of each other. But there are young souls in the world, and they are not going to get it. Probably not this lifetime. Walk on by, give them a blanket of pink and gold light. So remember, there's always something you can do, no matter where you are, who you are, or where you are on your journey toward empowerment. There is always something you can do. The pink and gold blanket of light is the most effective, requiring the least amount of energy from you and absolutely no contact with the offending party. And that is just you imagine in your mind that you are weaving together energetic strands of pink and gold light. Pink is unconditional love. Gold is the Christ consciousness, and you wrap it around the person. Do it 3 times at least. I have my blankets. If the person refuses, I have them go to another person who I don't even know about, who would really appreciate the energy. But in that way, I have satisfied my need to say, you are an idiot to the person who doesn't know any better. I didn't get myself into a battle on their level, and I know that I've done something good. Oh, thanks, Elle. I love you too. So, how are you going to become empowered? We want to get to this enlightened, empowered state. So, it is like water off the back when they say something cruel or nasty. And let's remember, we've all got the internet, social media. People put a lot of stuff on there that I'm like, Are you crazy? Why would you ever share that with people you don't know? Hey, it's just the way it is. Clearly, I am way too old to understand why you would air your dirty laundry in public. However, so everybody does it, and it is like pot shot central. People put out the worst of themselves and they are looking for support, and instead, everybody jumps on. Don't be one of those people. First of all, please don't put your failings on social media. Come into our Patreon group. I'm creating a peer support group that will only be uplifting and inspirational support from each other, where you could share something that is you are hurting from. No more social media outing yourself, expecting these people who may have only had one, some of them act like they're barely had one lifetime here because they know nothing about love and kindness. So don't give people an opportunity to hurt you. Be your most beautiful, luminescent self so that you can attract others who enjoy that vibration. You will repel more of them by being high than you ever could by going head to head. So, how are you going to get there? Well, first of all, you got to be honest with yourself. If you are lying to yourself, your journey just got longer. Take it from me. I lied to myself for a lot of years. Ooh, a lot of years. So don't hide your darkness, and you don't have to be afraid of your darkness. You need to release it with love and caring and the support of the energetic realm. Now, they're correcting me as they always do. It doesn't have to be with the support of the energetic realm. That's what I do, and I have found it to be the most loving, the easiest transition, and the most successful transition. But you do what is best for you. Honor the darkness, look at it, and release it in the way that speaks to your heart. There is no one right way for all of us. And oh, of course, my next point was call on your angelic beings. I am a super angel advocate. I do nothing without them. I can't imagine my life without them. So I definitely encourage you to enter into a partnership with them. They are waiting to help you. They have the answers. They want to support you. Why not? They're free. Why not? Do it, guys. So now, you want to use your angelic support system, but understand this is not a one-way street. So the angels help you, and you are going to help them. If you're like me, I don't like to feel like I'm taking advantage of people's kindness. You are not. When the angels help you, you help them on their personal ascension journey. Every being that exists has the desire to become more as the divine are, angels included. So, as they help you and you open and you become more heart centered and more divinely oriented, you are helping them become that way as well. So it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. Call on them continuously. Now, and then don't be afraid to move on. If you acknowledge the hurt, find the darkness where you're holding this hurt, you can't then sit there and wallow in your pain and expect that your journey is really going to feel good. You are experiencing what you are focused upon. So, heal by taking the appropriate action to heal. Empower. Become more. Allow yourself to understand who you are. There is nothing small about any of you. You may have been told you're small. You may have been told you're stupid. You may have been told that you will never amount to anything. Those are all lies. Anybody that told you that was speaking about themselves and from their viewpoint. I'm speaking from the divine viewpoint, and I know you are amazing. You have unlimited potential, and you have an innate intelligence that you just need to tap into. Innate intelligence is not the same as book smarts. You may have struggled in school. That's okay. You still have an innate intelligence that can guide you on this path. You struggled in school probably because the way that you were being taught didn't match the learning style that you have. Let that go. Recognize, okay, I didn't do well in school. I'm going to release that failure from me. Oh, and open to the understanding the divine truth that I have an innate intelligence that I can call upon to learn whatever it is that I need to learn. The thing that will be keeping you from learning is fear. If you are afraid you cannot learn, you will do everything in your power to prevent yourself from learning. So address that fear and then open to all you can be. And I am happy to help you do that. So now, remember that limit ledger that we had last week. I want to show you a different way that you can use it that is really going to help you with the rage meter. Before you go off in a rage, or even while you're in the middle of the rage, you got to take a time out and really recenter. But first, let me see what we're saying. Sirius says the shadow self incubates more darkness without addressing and releasing it. The shadows become light. As Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters. Yes, please don't be afraid of that darkness. The darkness, let's be realistic. My darkness was my greatest friend. I am deeply indebted to all of the people that helped me believe that I was less than, because ultimately they were the trigger that I needed in order to fully awaken and begin this ascension journey. I wouldn't be here without the darkness nagging the heck out of me and falling further and further into that deep abyss. At some point, you will say, I am tired of failing, tired of falling. And that's when you will gather yourself up. But if your life was a la la la, you're not ready. What's your motivation to awaken and ascend? What are you running from? Nothing. You're just la 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 la. That's not a bad life, but I love the life that I lived that was filled with plenty of darkness because it jettisoned me into a place of real understanding of divine truth. And without that, if I lived that white picket fence life that I wanted, I would be too complacent to put the energy into the change. So don't be afraid of your darkness. Thank it. Be grateful for it as you let it go and move ahead. Evan says, I like viewing my duality, shadow and light, as a garden. We must tend both sides or we get weeds and overgrown. Yes, work with it. Call on your angelic helpers. They can help you. When we do heart healing, it is the Christ consciousness that says, I go before you. You are not alone anymore. This darkness that you fear, I stand between you and the darkness so you can see it and evaluate it and release it without feeling under siege. There is so much help. I want you to take advantage of it. Okay, back to our limit ledger. So let's say You are awakening and you're a volcano. This awakening is making you less tolerant, and you may be feeling more tolerant for those who are struggling or ignorant, or less tolerant toward abusive acts, or even rage when your tolerance level is reached. So you could look at those who are struggling as you were, and you really feel, as I did, quite a bit of compassion and perhaps pity. And then you look at those perpetrators and you just want to explode and you have absolutely no tolerance, whereas before you might have tried to pretend that it was okay because it was all you had ever known. This is where your limit ledger is going to help you address the situation safely, but still get you beyond this place. Remember, this is the place where it's just a no-win, where both parties end up hurting and further behind or even going lower than they were before. So, your limit ledger. Let's use the example of healing from a chronic illness as what the awakening journey could be like for us. So, you awaken, you start ascending, and suddenly you have all these aches and pains and all these parts of yourself that don't seem to fit in where they used to. And it can become very unnerving, and it can be a very lonely journey, and it can make you feel more abused and as though you're going through more trauma than you trying to escape from. So healing requires releasing those painful memories instead of attaching to them, instead of looking for reasons why you're not even good enough to ascend properly. You must release all that negativity. It's like taking out the smelly garbage and replacing it with sweet smelling truth. So you've got this pile of stuff that people have shared with you over the years. Usually it's things like, you don't matter, you're not worth much, you have little to contribute, I don't like you, you're ugly, you're too fat, too thin, too tall, too short, whatever. Everybody's got an opinion about everything. Take out the trash. Just take all of this stuff that has been rattling around in your mind, pile it together, and hand it off to your angelic helper. Just, you see all this stuff? I don't want it. I don't like it. I need help. Take this away from me. And then open your heart and receive in its place truth. Begin with I am able. If you're not able to go any further than that, just begin there. I am able. See how that feels. And then choose something you already do very well. Now, I happen to know that Evan plays guitar, so he could begin with, I am able to play the guitar. And that would set for him a truth foundation. That is true. Then you begin layering on other things that you are able until you get to things where you're actually struggling and you start to bring in things. Let's say, I'm struggling to love myself. You want to take the trash out. You're struggling to love yourself. Release that, replace it with, I'm on a journey to self-love. See how that feels. Or I am able to love myself more every day. Gift to yourself that which you can absorb instead of trying to force feed. So this is where the limit ledger is going to come in and really be helpful. If you were an abused or if you had been abused in your past, or if you've had traumatic experiences, they often feel like force feeding. You have to do this, whack, or this is this is the way it is, kind of energy. With your limit ledger, remember it can be mental, just done in your mind, or done on paper. You got to ask yourself a couple of questions, because you must be the first one that is nice to you. Don't look for other people in the world to start being kind to you before you start being kind to you. You begin with the phrase, I am able. Find something that you do well. Don't tell me you don't do anything well. Okay? I am able to smile. You can do that very well. I am, and I know this is true for all of you, so I'm not even going to listen to an argument. I am able to be loving and kind. An empathic being is loving and kind at their core. I guarantee you, you all are loving and kind. So you've got your limit ledger. You got a rate from 0 to 10. 0, not at all. 10, absolutely. First, rate your mental wellness. If you are feeling overwhelmed, you do not give yourself a difficult task. You give yourself little, easy, loving things to do that day. The world won't end because you didn't get it all done. But I guarantee you, if you start your day and you're kind of feeling icky, and you start with an easy baby task, you're going to get much more done during the day, as opposed to if you wake up and you're just, oh, I feel miserable, I'm depressed, I'm so angry at Sue or whomever it is. If you're feeling that way, give yourself the baby task of, I am able to smile. I am able to breathe. Let it be easy in the beginning. You will get momentum. If you wake up miserable, you're at a 0, and you say, I have to be nice. Good luck. Good luck. That is force feeding to the max. You can tell yourself, I have to be nice. But nobody around you is going to feel that you are a loving, kind human being at that moment. Allow yourself to process through that. And as you are able, return to being a kind human being. And Abdul, I would agree. I think that most of us have some resistance with self love. And that's why I have created a foundation. Instead of just me doing one-on-one work with people that is very expensive, I have now created a foundation so that you can now come and receive group counseling for a pay what you can price. This is through our nonprofit foundation. If your price is 0, you may pay $0, and then we have different ways in which you can support the foundation other than through a monetary gift. Everyone has something of value to give, but it is much more difficult for you to give it if you are not fully self-loving. So if you want to explore what it feels like to be a self-loving individual, send me an email and tell me you're interested. I have a group being formed right now, and I want you to be part of it. It will either be $0, if that's how much you have, or you can pay the full amount and you'll know that you are paying the way for someone else. But no barrier to entry except you. You've got to agree. Yes, I want help. I want angelic support. I want to understand how I can love myself. So back to our limit ledger. You're rating your mental wellness. Then you have to rate your tolerance for a person or a situation. Again, if your tolerance is at a 0 for a parent, do not make calling the parent number 1 on your priority list of things to do. Perhaps you need to send a card, a text, an email, some other form of communication because you have zero tolerance for that person right now, and it will just cause you to erupt. Now, situation, same thing. If you have to go into work, do your best. Take multiple bathroom breaks where you spend the time that you need to get your energy in alignment and just put blinders on. Get in there, do your work, just maybe put on some lovely, relaxing music if that is helpful to you. Spend some time outside at lunch, walking around. Go to the bathroom, get that negative energy off of you, and come back and apply those spiritual blinders. But don't try to interact with the coworkers or the situations that are going to send you into the stratosphere unless you're on a deadline. If you're on a deadline, then you need to do some deep heart work so you can be in alignment with this. And you might just have to struggle through if you didn't do the heart work in advance. So some things you just have to muscle through. Then you're going to rate your patience. If you have zero patience with somebody that you feel that you need to call for whatever reason, you may want to think about whether it's a good idea to call them in your current state of mind. Honor your limitations by saying, I am capable of doing this, but not that. My new limitation is I am capable of sending love to hate groups. I am no longer capable of interacting with them directly. I have just taken a powder from trying to explain to these people that are determined to be hateful why that is not a good thing to do. I would much rather stay here, interact with all of you, and help you become more loving than worry about these 10 people over here that are probably never going to get it. They get their energetic blankets of love, and I get to have a fabulous time dealing with people who want to feel better about themselves. These people don't care, don't want to change, are not going to change. I want to go where I can make a difference. And then you have to rate your desire to change. Now, if I'm talking about my desire to go talk with hate groups, I am a 0. No more, not interested. Leave me alone. I am having such a good time with all of you who are desiring to know how to put the spiritual world to work in your life, that I have no desire to go over here and I don't want to change. So I don't do that anymore. I'm not putting myself in situations that are going to cause me to become enraged by the reaction of the people. Oh, you're welcome, Abdul. So, first thing, how am I feeling today? What's my tolerance for this situation? How much patience do I have regarding this issue, and do I want to change? When you understand what you can and cannot tolerate, you are going to be so much freer in your world. I cannot tolerate people abusing other people or treating one group as though they are superior to another. So I do my best to avoid those situations. There is an area of the country that I find horribly offensive because of the way that one group interacts with another, and I don't go there. I just don't have any reason to go there anymore. The people that live there don't live there anymore. And I am not in a hurry to go spend time in that environment where I am constantly feeling uncomfortable. And Evan is sharing with Sirius. I love the fact that you guys are interacting. It's beautiful support. And this is what we're going to create, a private community. Again, no money will be exchanged here. It is just peer peer support, but you'll have access to it 24 hours a day. You just need to be part of our Healing Hearts community so that I know to add you. And I've got to figure out, I think it's got to be on Facebook so it can be free, but we'll make it whatever the private thing is. So, why are we bothering to upgrade our emotions? I think the thing that we need to remember most is our why, because there's nothing about the ascension journey that is necessarily hearts and flowers or easy, even though it becomes easier as you become more proficient in living in divine truth as opposed to worldly illusion. The ascension journey is not designed to be particularly easy because you're building spiritual muscle. So, why in the world are we putting ourselves through all of this? Remember the person that I shared with you earlier that said, why did I awaken? I was so happy being numb. Well, the truth was, they weren't happy. They were sleeping 12 hours every day. Maybe no, probably much more, sleeping most of their life away, having no real social interaction, and just sort of zombieing through life. They just didn't expect it to be so difficult when they decided it was time to live again. So, why are you doing this? Why are you bothering to upgrade your emotions and your vibration? We got to remember that emotions are loud and they are result oriented. So you may feel like you can stay here, and if you're not bothering anyone, it's not going to impact negatively on you. But those emotions that you're holding in, that hate, that hurt, those ways in which you are not loving, they are loud. They are a broadcasting system that is going out into the world and painting a target on you, saying, law of attraction, bring me more so that I can feel bad about myself. Bring me hurt, bring me destruction, bring me lowered self-esteem. Doesn't that doesn't feel good, and it's beneath you. You are worth more. So the lower vibrational emotions, those negative emotions like rage and anger and hatred and blame and fear and impotence, they are blasting the universe, and they are magnetically attracting to you more situations that will cause this. It also makes you less effective in everything that you're doing because these loud negative emotions are also sort of mufflers. They are mufflers for what you would want to achieve. So when you get into the high vibrational resonance, you are going to be sending out that love, joy, and peace, and yet it doesn't have that muffled sort of heavy energy to it. So it may be spoken at the same volume, but because it's weightless, it's going to be going out much further because none of us know where the answers may be coming from. All we can know is that the answers are on their way to us. Remember, every prayer is heard and every prayer is answered. So every time you think, wow, it would really feel good to whatever it is, and you continue to really feel good. Let's pretend I want a new car and I decide I want a blue SUV, an electric one, or whatever. I want a blue electric SUV. I'm not good with cars, so I can't get any more detailed than that. And I just get really excited about I feel how good it's going to feel. I get really excited about this new thing. I get really feeling empowered and honored and loved. That vehicle that I need maybe miles and miles away from where I am. But because I haven't muffled my request with a lot of negativity, wherever that vehicle is, it will be able to make its way to me. It could be in the other side of the world, and it would be able to make its way to me as I'm honoring myself with that higher vibration that allows you to truly tap in to your source. And we all have the same source, but that source is unlimited. So if I want something, and Evan wants something, and Abdul wants something, and Elle wants something, if all of us want something, we can each have what we desire, and it will cause no dissension in the universe. There is more than enough for all. And we need to remember, before we have the desire, it has already been gifted to us. The reason that you may not be getting your prayer answered or your desire received is you. You are the barricade. In Abdul's case, he said, well, I kind of feel like I'm having trouble with self-love. Self-love is going to be the gate at the entry point. Nothing's getting in because Abdul said, I don't deserve this. Well, put his energy way down there. If Abdul is able to open his heart and say, yeah, that would really feel good, in it comes. In comes whatever he needs in order to be in alignment with the desire of his heart. So even though the ascension journey is fraught with all sorts of interesting escapades, and it can make you feel really crazy sometimes, it is so worth it to spend the time really understanding that, yes, you need to examine, honor, and respect those darker aspects. You need to give voice to the emotions that you may be feeling. And then, as quickly as you are able, you need to release them so you can reach and grab hold of those higher, lighter vibrations that are going to honor you in every way. There is no way for you to get from here, anger, to a feeling good place. Anger, by its definition, is unable to allow you to feel good. You can feel angry, you can feel rage, you can feel ripped off. You can feel as though you've been discriminated against, but that is not you feeling good. You may believe erroneously that, hey, I feel good because I know I deserve something better. That's that righteous indignation. Sometimes we need to give it a place at the table, but you don't want to give it a place at the table for very long, because the longer you stay in the I deserve better, the less you are able to, oh, there's better over there and here. And there's so many opportunities for better. You cannot have both. You might need to move through the phase of that lower emotion, but keep in mind that while you are here, you are missing out on all of the better. So do your best. Call on your angel helpers. Clear and heal your heart so that there are no barriers to entry for you. And please do not restrict the divine in the way that they choose to deliver it to you. Let's say I'm back to my car again. I want a blue electric SUV. I am not going to tell God, and you need to deliver it to my door by 2 p.m. I am going to say, I am excited to receive this from whatever direction it may be coming. Someone may drive up to my door at 2 p.m. and knock on the door and say, oh, here's your new car. I have had stranger things than that happen. However, I've also had long journeys toward a desire, and both of them were wonderful. It was wonderful to open the door and have a gift be presented to me. It was also wonderful to go on the journey because the journey brought me growth so that I could be open to even more. So plant the desire, get that vibration high, and then be open to receiving it, knowing that it is God's great pleasure to grant you the desires of your heart. That's why our community is called My Heart's Desire. Not because I thought of that, but because that's what the divine told me. Name it My Heart's Desire so that people will get used to believing and being in alignment with the truth that God wants to give you the desires of your heart. You've got to get in the same lane where the desire already is, and that's the lane where the divine reside. Most of us have spent all of our lives in the lane of you can't have that. That's not for you. You're not good enough. You don't deserve that. Get out of that lane and come here. How are you going to do that? You're going to call on your angelic helpers, and I have 2 for you today. Just remember to acknowledge your feelings, any injustice, abuse, unwanted pain needs to be acknowledged before it can be cleared and healed. You cannot shove it under the rug. We've all been doing that for most of our lives and expect that it's just going to magically disappear. So, here, I'm going to share with you all of the different ways in which you can join me. Some of them are free. The counseling is now pay what you can. So it is free at this point. And others are going to require a bit more of a commitment. It's up to you. It's up to you to make a judgment about what is going to honor you. And just start anywhere. Start with the Facebook group, My Heart's Healing Hearts. Join Patreon for $11.11 a month. You'll at least have access to all the material. Put your toe in the water if you're afraid to reach out. But as soon as you can, reach out to me if you want the help and make sure that you get it. Now, who are our 2 angelic helpers? Green Terra and St. Francis. Green Terra, the Terras come in all different colors, but Green Terra specifically is considered the speedy goddess. She will help you speed up your transformation. I also find that Green Terra helps you to create a foundation. So once you're up here, the last thing you want to do is plummet back down. But when you're just beginning, when you're just figuring it out, your journey is going to look like this. Later on, it becomes more like this. But in the beginning, there's a lot of ups and downs. Everything is new. It's easy to get overwhelmed. And with Green Terra, I have found that she will hold that sort of balance, that foundation for you, so that you can go up and you can come down, but you probably won't go down as far as you were before. And she says she gets matters settled quickly. She helps you on your conscious journey to freedom and helps you to overcome obstacles. You want her in your corner. And it's as easy as saying, Green Terra, please come help me on my journey. Don't make it complicated. These angelic, energetic beings want to help you. Open your heart, ask for help, and be willing to receive. You don't need a specific invocation. You don't need a special prayer. You don't need a special candle. You don't need to wear a special outfit or hold a special crystal. You can do all that. You don't need to. The other one, St. Francis. I love St. Francis because he was an arrogant, you know what? in his youth went through a horrible traumatic experience and had his come to Jesus moment. He awakened to understand there was so much more to the world than being a rich nobleman who looked down on others. And now he wants to help you find that peace that he has found, that peace that surpasses all understanding. And he wants to help you stretch out and be more compassionate for yourself and others. He will help you with whatever outcome that you are wanting to achieve, but he will also help you choose the highest good. What I do is just to leave it up, completely leave it up to the divine. I have this is what I would like, but I leave it up to the divine. St. Francis will help you understand what is your highest good. And he's also going to help you stabilize your emotions. If you are always up and down, St. Francis will help you get that sort of humming kind of level that really makes it easier to be in your life. So stabilize those emotions by helping you get that higher perspective and recognize when it's worth it and when you're just wasting your energy. So I hope if you are struggling, I don't hope that you're struggling. I hope that you will reach out if you are struggling in any way. As I said, there is no barrier to entry. Obviously, if you can give something to the foundation, it is tax-free and it will help someone else. But please don't allow finances to be the reason why you are not getting the help that you deserve. And you deserve it. I don't care where you've been. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what has been done to you. You deserve to live a life that feels good. Thanks, everyone. I'm so glad you were here. Thank you all for participating in the way that you did. It really makes this time together come alive. So, sending you much love. Thank you all.